Hi, this is Beth Ruske. I am joined today by two of my business partners, Peg Rowe
Hello.
and Franciska 𝐤𝐿.
Hello.
And we're here from Tiara International, and we're here to talk about, do our Tiara Talk. And this week's Tiara Talk is about how relationships and results are mandatory. I think I'm even going to change our title a little bit here. They're mandatory.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how a lot of us have this either or thinking about if I could just get people to do what I tell them to do, or if I would just do it myself. So we're going to debunk that thinking a little bit for you today. And so let's start out, ladies, with the either or thinking and the both and about tasks and relationships.
Terrific. So a couple of things come to mind. I think historically had been a time when leaders were either excellent at managing and developing people, or they were excellent at getting results, and there wasn't both. And today the expectation is you have to be able to deliver both. You have to be able to produce results as well as effectively manage the relationships and influence. And so one of the things that we often see is as leaders are coming up through the ranks, and they may be in that manager role, they've been a subject matter expert, they really know their stuff, they've been able to get great results, their brand is getting results. It can be a little bit scary in some respects to take the leap to say, oh, it's not about me pushing my team hard to get results and me driving it, but I actually need to step back and let my team take on more and be empowered. And I need to focus on creating, developing other relationships that will support the work that we're doing. And I liken it to being a trapeze artist, where you're like swinging from the trapeze, and you have to have, the faith that if you let go of the one you're on, that the other one's going to come up to catch you. And I think for a lot of leaders, that's where they get stuck. They feel like, well, I know how to do the task piece, not so sure how to make the relationship part work. So they feel comfortable. It's like their comfort zone to stay in task.
Yeah, that's an interesting, Peg. You're mentioning the word comfort zone. I know we see with a lot of female leaders, in our Tiara model for true leadership, we have three main dimensions. We talk about awareness, we talk about producing results, we talk about influence. At the heart of it is your personal inspiration. But the thing we see in a lot of women as they progress in their careers is they've gotten really, really good at getting things done. And they've created this identity, if you will, or brand, as you said, about, the go-to person or the get it done person.
Right.
And there's this competency trap is what we refer to it as, because they are really good at it. And you could do it faster and better, maybe, but why should you? I mean, that's, when you do that, you're actually not delegating, you're robbing your team of the opportunity for growth. So
yeah, if I can add to that, I see two additional aspects, and one is that it is when we are so focused and invested in the subject or in the topic, it also feels like we are growing a baby and we know everything about inside and out of our topic, and it's difficult to let go of the baby. And well, it's not difficult if we know it's well taken care of by others. So then when we start delegating to others, then we need to know that they will do it just as well as we do, or otherwise we like to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm thinking about is it also requires a paradigm shift, like an orientation, a mental reorientation from the subject to the people. And that seems to be hidden. It needs to be discovered. We need to become aware, like, oh, this is difficult. It is a different dynamic.
I think you're bringing up something Peg referred to a little earlier about what managers and leaders are expected to do today. It is not either or anymore. Like you have to be able to do both. But I think the challenge is growing up in your career, you have been rewarded for what you've produced. It has become your identity, and your worth becomes tied to this. So this paradigm shift that you're talking to, Franciska, it really is a shift from what I can do to what we can do.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's about with and through, you know, getting things done as opposed to just the end game.
Yeah.
And I think the other part of that is that often when leaders do make that transition and they embrace the idea of, yes, I need to engage others, what they find out is that they actually produce even better results because now they're bringing other people in who have different ideas. The height of collaboration is really being able to build on everybody's ideas. And most of the time, the team will come up with something better than anybody would have individually. And so when leaders get to that place, they realize like, oh, wow, you know, this is actually in many respects easier because I'm engaging my team, they're developing, and we're actually creating better results, you know, from shifting the way we're doing things.
Yeah.
And I think that's true, Peg. And I think, Franciska, you said this earlier about one of the ingredients to get those better results is trust.
Mhm.
So you're able to build more trust into the relationship. You want to share a little bit more thoughts about that?
Trust is at the basis of collaboration. We need to be able to trust in different ways, in a way that the job gets done or the task gets done well, but also that it gets done in time, and there is this reliability and there is accountability in that. And when trust grows, then also the ability of the team to produce results together will grow, and so the impact will grow. I very much like the acronym for team saying together each achieves more. And yeah, trust needs to be at the basis.
Yeah. You know, the other thing we see with a lot of women in professional ranks is that they get to this, we call it the competency trap, but they're known then, or they're labeled as being tactical thinkers. And it starts to hurt them. And we don't see this. We see, you know, our scale is, oh, I'm doing so much, I'm getting things done. It's kind of like I'm going to be rewarded. And it doesn't happen that way. You know, you actually reach diminishing returns with that thought process. And it starts to actually count against you. So if I'd say there's a trigger out here for you, if you're watching this video and you're thinking, oh my gosh, somebody told me I'm kind of coming across really tactical or in the weeds is another way of putting it. You might be. And that's a clue that I need to pull back. I need to delegate more. I need to kind of pick my head up and be a little bit more broad in my thinking and my approach. You have it in you. It's just, you've just trained yourself to focus here.
Exactly. I think that's a really good point, is that people, we have become so accustomed, we've used that muscle so well that we have to stop for a moment, pause, and remind ourselves that we need to have this broader point of view and this broader look across the organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts as we kind of go around really quickly about any other things that you've just experienced, or you just want to make sure people remember, you know, in this both and mindset?
Yeah, the word that was coming for me was the phrase both and. Just remember both and look for opportunities to blend the task orientation and the people orientation.
How about you, Franciska?
For me, it's in fact coming back to the acronym of team and remembering that together you can really achieve more than you can in terms of results also than you could do for yourself, by yourself.
Yeah. And mine is somewhat of an emotional plea to you, and that is, it's more fun. It's more fun when you're working with people as opposed to, you know, said an extrovert. I understand that, but it seems to be more fun when you can actually accomplish something with others as opposed to just heads down on your own, and you get to share in the accomplishment. So that's all goodness. Thanks for joining us, and join us again for another Tiara Talk coming up soon.